Of course, I'm just skimming the comments. Sorry, before I do these lives, I mute my microphone so that I don't make any noises while I'm doing it. And actually, Blaze is up. I'm going to let her come and say hi. Blaze, here. Come here, girl. She just found one of her bones. Come here. Come say hi to everybody. Here's my girl. There she is. She's having a good day. We did a bunch of hiking the last couple of days. Actually, the last 4 days, we've had a ton of hikes. So she's been really happy. But anyway, there's my fur baby. All right, I'm going to start all over again, which is hello, welcome. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining me on Wake Up Wednesday Live. My name is Laurie Majka. I am the host of the Laurie Majka YouTube channel, where we primarily interview people who've had near-death experiences. But I've also talked to plenty of channelers, mediums, people who have past life memories, past life regressionists, ET encounters. If it's spiritual, if it awakens you to the fact that you are more than this human body, than this avatar that you are inhabiting right now, I want to talk to you. So I want to remind everybody who's watching today that you are a powerful, beautiful, amazing, infinite soul, and truly the power of what you are and who you are is probably not something that you are thinking. It's probably infinitely larger than what you've ever imagined. What I would say to you after having so many experiences on the other side, about having so many of these conversations, is that whatever power you think of when you think of God, universe, source, that's actually what you are. Because the power of source, universe, God, whatever label you want to give that entity that is everything, is so much greater than you could ever imagine in your human mind. There's nothing that we can compare it to. And it is everything, and everything is within it. So there's nothing that is not it. It is one source dreaming us for the experience, and you are it. And when you go home, you can experience yourself on a soul as a higher soul. You can experience yourself as a collective. You can experience yourself as source. You get the choice, but you are all of it. And you are powerful, and you are beautiful, and you are never not love, even though it feels like you're not when you're here. So as the comments are getting heated up, I want to remind you that this is about you. If your name does not reflect your name, I would love to know what your name is. Please share your name with me. And you can ask me anything. You can ask me about spiritual topics. You can ask me about guests, past guests. Any question you have, I'm happy to answer them. And while I'm letting the comments kind of get going, I'm going to share my 2 synchronicities from this week. I have an adorable video that I uploaded to my OneDrive, but I didn't set it up to share it with you guys. And I might be able to pull it up on my phone and kind of show you, but it's part of my synchronicity that happened. So my first synchronicity I'm going to share happened on Saturday. So I'm a list maker. I don't know how many of you guys are list makers, but I sometimes make elaborate lists. I, unfortunately for myself, put like time constraints, like from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, I'm going to do this. Rarely do I ever get things done as quickly as I think I'm going to get them done. And I always over add on my list, like almost make it impossible for me to achieve it all in a day. But Saturday was one of those days. So in my cabin, I'm surrounded by trees. You can see the green behind me. I have 8 acres of forest all around me, and then other people's property that have forests. So it's heavily deciduous trees and a lot of pine trees. So during this season, the pine trees release this pine dust that is yellow, and it covers everything. And I've got a gorgeous screened-in porch outside, but I cannot relax on it when the whole thing is covered on the floor, on the furniture with pine dust. So all I wanted to do was take the cushion covers off, clean them, clean the floors. So I gave myself an hour. 3 hours later, I had cleaned all of the log walls. I had cleaned all the railings of the screened in porch, some of the screen, all of the bulbs. I have party bulbs going all the way around. Like, this was ridiculous. It just took me forever. Washed them, put them back on, the whole 9 yards. And then the next task was to hike. So now I am like hours behind. I get ready to leave, and my neighbor stops by and he wants a tour of my cabin because he hadn't seen it for a while. And we wound up having a spiritual conversation, of course, because it's me, and getting into all these conversations. And so I am now hours and hours later than I had planned to hike, which is the important thing, because there's something that I've really come to know over time, and that is you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Like, there are no accidents in timing. And the universe loves to remind me of this with these amazing synchronicities. So I live in this really remote area in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and there is a paved 2-lane highway that I have to take to get to this hiking trail I was going to hike. That's like off on a dirt gravel road, and then a dirt road, and then pretty much no path into the forest. And while I was driving, all of a sudden, my car is going to drive over a bird, a tiny bird, a small bird, like the size of a tennis ball. And I can't stop. I can't do anything. It looks like it's moving. And I go over it, and I immediately like slam on the brakes and find the first place I can turn around, because I have got to go rescue this bird. I'm a rescuer. I've rescued turtles, birds, all kinds of things. So I go back, and as I go back, a pickup truck is coming from the other way, and it too goes over the bird. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm too late. But no, it was fine. It was a little fledgling woodpecker. It was so adorable. And I picked it up, and it wanted to just bite me, but I walked it well into the woods so that it would be safe, and I let it go. Guys, I was so euphoric when this happened. It made me so happy. And I got in the car, and as soon as I got in the car, not even 30 seconds later, We Built This City by Starship came on. And if you guys know anything about me, you know that my passed away loved one was the lead guitarist of the band Starship, and he always sends me these signs. And so it was just like a double heartwarming moment for me to not only be able to save this little fledgling woodpecker, but also to be able to get like a wink from the universe for doing it. And then moments after that song started playing, a deer ran out in front of the road and crossed with its little tiny, maybe 4 or 5 day old fawn. And both the car coming the other direction and I had plenty of time to stop and let it cross. And I just felt so lucky to have experienced all of that. I'm going to try and find, I know where my woodpecker little video is. I want to see, you won't be able to hear the sound probably, but I think I can play and you guys can see it.
Hello. You were going to get run over where you were. You look like a little woodpecker. You're so pretty. There we go. Good job.
So there it is. I don't know if you could hear any of that, me talking to it. But anyway, I just love those winks from the universe. And again, if I hadn't have just stayed on my path and did all the things that I did, I never would have been there to have that experience. And it was just super special. So that's sign number one. Sign number two is much shorter. I was hiking 2 days ago, and I have a decision that I had made, and I was thinking about that decision on my hike and not second guessing it, but just kind of wanting like a confirmation. And I got in my car at the end of the hike and turned it on, and Sarah by Starship started playing. Oh, by the way, the other part about when We Built the City happened with that fledgling bird. After that song ended, the DJ on XM Radio's 80s on 8 announced that Starship was number 46 in viewer voting in the countdown for the 4th of July weekend. So even more special, it wasn't even just randomly playing on that radio station. It had been voted by people, and it had to be played like at that moment in the countdown for me to hear it. So I love this. I hope that you guys are experiencing synchronicities. I think synchronicities are kind of a package deal that come with awakening, because you realize very quickly that we are living in a holographic universe. We are living in a matrix. We have designed these lives. And I think that we give ourselves little breadcrumbs so that we can follow the path and get confirmations. Maybe these are gifts from ourselves. Maybe they're not even from a passed away loved one. Like maybe it was my higher self who sent these to me in a way that would make them more meaningful for me. I don't know how it works. I don't think anybody knows how it works, but those are my synchronicities. If you guys have ones you want to share, I'd love to hear them. And I'm going to go to the comments now. So, welcome, everybody. Welcome. Also, reminder, if you have a complicated name on your YouTube name that doesn't match what your real name is, please tell me that. I'd love to get to know you guys. So, Donna, hello, Donna. Are you driving home from work? I think you're usually driving home during these lives. Hi, Catherine. Are you feeling better? I know you had your hospital stay. I hope that you're out of the hospital and feeling better. And I don't want to overwhelm you, but I will get some pictures of Blaze to you. I know you wanted to draw her. So no pressure to do that at any time, but I haven't forgotten that you wanted to do that. Hi, Tammy. Okay, yes, so many people in the beginning saying no audio. God, I'm so sorry about this. I feel like such an idiot with sometimes with these lives. Like I know I'm smart, but I don't feel very smart sometimes with this technology besting me on these lives. But thank you, everybody. Thank you, Debbie. Can anyone read lips? Hilarious. You probably could. Oh yes. Hold on. You're nice to be here and not just listening on my way home from work, home again today. Oh, nice, Donna. That's great. Okay. Most of you just oh, thank you. Blaze is such a fun girl. I feel so blessed to have her in my life. So hi Ronnie, I sent you a couple emails today. I read all of your emails and I want to do a shout out to you and a shout out to your wife Linda. And I love that you shared those synchronicities with me. Thank you so much. Thank you for being here. In your questions, would you say that there's a consensus on what most NDEs and OBEs experience? Has anyone actually really done a show on that? What do they all agree to? No. What I will say about NDEs and OBEs, I will say, Ronnie, that they're as unique as people are. And I think that I am of the camp that there's a large amount of people who study these, and there are a large amount of NDEers who I've spoken to who all say the same thing about the process of an NDE. And one of the things that I really feel influence what somebody experiences is their belief system that they have in this current incarnation here on earth. If they have a Christian background, a lot of times they will see what the Bible would describe as pearly gates. I've had that. What people would describe as a beautiful crystal city, as paved gold roads, as hills and flowers and trees and beauty. They will maybe have an encounter with Jesus. They will oftentimes see Jesus or another light being in a human-esque form, wearing clothing like white togas are explained a lot, sandals that lace up the leg, which are kind of like biblical to me. If somebody has no belief system, sometimes they will experience, I think maybe those are the ones that are more likely to experience a void where there's kind of like a place where there's not much of anything or it's everything, maybe the spot of thought creation. So I think it really does depend on the person. And there are some people who have experiences where they go into a realm that's very human like. Many of them experience a border, a limitation that says you can't cross this river, you can't go through this door, you can't step across here, you can't stay any longer, and they're told that they have to go back. And I don't know why that happens to some people and not all. The only thing that I feel has been the most common in all NDEs and even the OBEs is the feeling of peace and love in an emotion that they've never felt before in human form. The second most common is the vividness, the realness, the more real than this experience, this is the dream, the other side, those experiences are the real reality. That seems to be an extremely common theme with these OBEs and NDEs. And the experience also of no time, meaning that here we have a linear experience of time. There, time not only doesn't happen in a linear fashion, but I've talked to many people. Usually this comes out more in the pre-interview than the post-interview, than while they're doing an interview with me. They'll explain that over time, they've had to find a way to put their NDE together in a linear sequence because it didn't happen that way on the other side. It happened all at once, or what felt like all at once, or it felt like it was a jumbled experience where they could not put it on a line with this happened first and second and last. So those are probably the three most common experiences that people have. And then there's the gamut of they'll have experiences with light beings, with energy beings, with universes, or feeling like they're in empty spaces, black holes, voids. Then they'll have experiences as a collective, and very few have had the experiences where they have been source. Some have an experience with source where they ask questions or they are downloaded with information. A lot of NDEs, I feel like, have a connection to what is all knowledge, which is not the same as what we label knowledge here. It's very different. It's hard to describe. That's why I call it wisdom, because it's way beyond the knowledge of like, this is how cells work in a molecular structure, or this is how quantum physics or science works. It's different than that. It's so outside of just the Earth experience. So, excellent question. Thank you for asking it, Ronnie. Hope that answers it. Oh, Scott, yeah, that's right. You're in New Mexico because you're in Albuquerque, I think. So thank you, Scott, for joining. Always happy to see you here. I love that you guys are getting to know each other and have these conversations with each other here too. I froze what you heard or didn't hear, but I'm going to go back to Scott. So I said, hi, Scott from Albuquerque, New Mexico. I always appreciate you being here. And I love that you guys are getting to know each other and interact with each other on these lives. I think it's so awesome. 3 hours later, you clean like I do. Yeah, exactly. Tammy said, I want to introduce a few family members to my new understandings of consciousness and NDEs. Can you suggest a great book? They're readers, not TV watchers. Okay. I'm going to suggest, this is so crazy that this is coming up, but of course it is. I had an email from a guy who wanted to tell me that he was new to the YouTube channel and that he had begun listening to the series of videos that I created called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose. And in one of those videos, I talk about a book that is one of my all-time favorite books. And I don't know if I've talked about it on these lives before, but it's called The Afterlife of Billy Fingers: How My Bad Boy Brother Proved to Me That There Is Life After Death. Yes, that's the entire title name, by Annie Kagan, who, by the way, years ago I reached out to and asked to interview her, and she declined. She doesn't do interviews, but I loved her book so much. It's a phenomenal book. It's a very short book, but it's a great introduction to people who might be skeptical or not sure or on the fence or new to spirituality. And I think it's a really fun introduction. It's about a woman who is a chiropractor who is very spiritual. Her brother is an alcoholic, drug using homeless guy who gets killed by a car and starts communicating with her. And through the communications, tells her that she's going to have these synchronicities that prove to her that he's not making this up. She's not imagining the conversation and communication with him. So it's all about these synchronicities, but then he's sharing what he's experiencing on the other side. And some of the concepts when I read that book were fairly new to me, but they were like, oh, interesting. He talks a lot about the power of our soul. He talks about his life review and how he played it out. He talks about meeting other souls. He talks about becoming the universe. And then towards the end, For somebody who's new, the book does get a little bit weird because it goes into Shiva, the goddess, and some other things where he becomes not human, and she's having a hard time connecting to him because he's far away. But it's a really, really good book for somebody who's new. Another book that I'm going to recommend because it seemed to be the NDE that really convinced a lot of people that near death experiences were real and scientific. And that is Proof of Heaven by Dr. Eben Alexander. I did interview him a couple of years ago on the show. He didn't really go into and talk about his NDE so much. We had a lot of talks about binaural beats and consciousness, and it was more of a collaborative conversation than it was about his NDE. He touched on it a little bit. But what I like about his NDE is how he approaches the science of the brain and what he knew as a neurosurgeon about the brain, and how he was a complete atheist who didn't believe in anything. And he died from spinal meningitis, brain meningitis. They gave him like a 20% or less chance to live. And he had this phenomenal experience that ends in a synchronicity that is mind blowing. And I had several people in my life who did not really, they were agnostic. I'll say that. They just couldn't get their arms around, could this be real? And it was a tipping point for two males in my life. So I'll recommend those couple of books. There's another phenomenal one it's probably my all-time favorite book. I've read it, I don't know, 6 or 7 times. Um, and it's called Three Magic Words by U.S. I always want to say Grant. I can never remember his name. You guys can look it up. It's Three Magic Words. It's in multiple printings. This was done forever and ever ago, but it is such a great book. There's a lot of explanations that are really helpful. It's really not like a near-death experience. It's more of a spirituality 101. And then so those are the 3 that I would recommend that are spiritual light. They're not so deep. They don't get into so many concepts. Like I remember the first time Eckhart Tolle was on Oprah, and it was one of her book club books that she recommended. And I bought it and I was excited about it. And I was on my spiritual journey, but nowhere near the experiences and the understanding and the depth of understanding I have now. And I didn't get it and I didn't like it. And I bet if I went back and read it now, I would understand all of it and I would get it and I'd probably love it. But it was too early for me. And I was just like, I don't even think I finished reading it. So be careful with that, because sometimes these concepts can be so big and so deep that they don't resonate. Another one I'm going to recommend is a book by Dr. Brian Weiss, Life Between Lives. And he wrote a book. He was a psychiatrist, a division of, I can't remember what school he was part of, but he started doing regressions to help people uncover memories in childhood. And a woman who he worked with at the hospital, who was a nurse, so when he regressed her, she started talking about something that didn't make sense. And he took all these notes, and it turned out that she was talking about a past life. And so he talks about a lot of these past life regressions. But what I love about it is that they confirm on a deep level with evidential information that these people weren't making it up. And I'm going to recommend one more in the same vein of that, but different. And this one's a hard one for people in the West, but early on, probably close to 20 years ago, I found this book called Old Souls. And that book is about Dr. Stephen, can't think of his last name right now. He's a prominent child studier of past lives. And so he mostly studied children under the age of 12 who had memories of a life that they lived before this one. And they would have all of this evidential evidence in it. And was a game changer for me. I remember when I picked it up or somebody recommended it to me, thinking, I kind of believe in past lives. I don't know. I'm on the fence about it. And I had all these kind of preconceived notions about them. Like maybe you would have to live, it'd have to like 100 years would have to pass. Like these people were having past lives within 2 years, 5 years after their last human incarnation. And they were incarnating as the same ethnicity, as the same religion in a different region. And a lot of them are in India. And Ian Stevens is the name of the guy who it is after. And I can picture the author because I've interviewed him twice, for God's sakes, and I could not think of his name. But I can picture him. It'll come to me when I'm not thinking about it. But it's a great book because of the evidential evidence. To me, I don't know why we're even talking about, is reincarnation real? Are past lives real? There's a mountain of evidential evidence. Blaze wants to go outside. I'm going to take 1 second and let her outside and come back to the comments. Okay, hold on. She's got to go. Hold on. Come on, Blaze. You're here. Okay. Sorry about that. All right. So this is a live, right? Okay. So I hope, Tammy, that helps. And I'm glad I spent a little bit of time on that, because all of those books that I mentioned are worthwhile for anybody who has any questions in any of those areas of, they're books that I've read more than once and that I highly recommend. So maybe that helps other people too, or people who are watching this in the future. Okay, Diane says, thank you so much for saving the woodpecker. Could you guys hear the audio on that video, or did you just see the video? But I'm glad I was able to show it to you. Starship, what a fantastic experience. That's awesome. Oh, yes. You knew I was going to mention the fawn. You're so intuitive. That's crazy. Yes. Love it. Just wait until that number pops up again. 46. Oh, yeah, that's funny. I don't know. I'll have to look and see if it does. I haven't thought about it, but maybe it will. Maybe it hasn't. I haven't been paying attention. Donna says, I get them all the time and far more since my awakening in 2021 daily. I love that. We have deer everywhere here in the East Tennessee. I bet there's so many deer. Yes, Donna, you were saying you were home today. Catherine's, yes, you're in the home. You got home. You're happy to be home. Still in some pain, but nothing I've experienced. Well, I'm glad that you're home and I'm glad that you're feeling better. That's great. Your Wednesday client is out of town. Oh, I see. Scott, Tammy. Okay, you're talking to Tammy. Okay, that's great. Oh, how funny, Scott. Look at you and I being on the same page. I mentioned proof of heaven, and so did you. Awesome. Love it. We have deer all over the place, out here, quail road, and coyotes. I'll tell you my fox story towards the end of this. Tammy said, I'm thinking about ordering Gateway course for home use. No, I have not, but my really good friend wants to book up a time for us to go to the Monroe Institute. We've talked about it. Next year, the two of us are going to travel to Turkey and we're going to go to Göbekli Tepe. So I'm going to do a month trip next July. Hope to God it's not as hot in July in Europe as it's been this year, from what I'm hearing. But I'm going to go I'm going to go hike Mont Blanc. It's 110-mile through the Swiss Alps, the French Alps, and the Italian Alps. And then I'm going to go to a couple of other countries in Europe I haven't been to. And I'm going to go to Göbekli Tepe and a few other places, ancient sites in Turkey. I'm really excited about that. But she's the one that we're talking about going to the Gateway experience. So it won't be 2027. That might be on my calendar for 2028. I think that would be a fantastic experience. And I think it'd be worth doing. I just don't remember how expensive it is or what the commitment is. Okay. Catherine says, for a few years, I have gotten to tape 6 and it keeps going over them over. Oh, I see. Donna said, oh, you read the book by Annie. Oh, that's so good. Okay. The reason I didn't mention any of Dr. Michael Newton's books is because I feel like they're too advanced. I don't feel like that can be one of the first books that you jump into where you don't have a better spiritual framework. I just think they're a little bit higher level. Like I would wait until they've read or embraced some of the, because a lot of people cannot even embrace that they have more than one life. They can't even begin to think that they could have had multiple lives. They think, oh, live only once, and this is it. This is the only incarnation I've ever had, and I'm never coming back again because we just have one. Like that's very biblical. So people also have a hard time understanding that they picked everything in their lives, and that means everything. Most people don't want to think that they picked any of the bad things that have happened to them, because then you can no longer be a victim of this happened to me. Then you have to try and reconcile, why in the devil did I pick some of these things? I see this in the comments all the time. People have a really hard time with, they picked their body, their experience of what they're going to have, their parents, like people in their lives, they don't want to hear it. It's tough. Like it's kind of a challenging place to be once your eyes are open and you understand some of these things that we were brought up to believe one way are actually very different. And I would imagine that there's probably hundreds and hundreds of things that we believe that are just a fraction of what we understand. So it's tough sometimes to jump in with too much information, because that can be a really big turnoff. Because, like my experience with that Eckhart Tolle book, like I never picked up another one of those, and it probably shied me away from some of the spirituality stuff, because it was just like, I don't get this, I don't understand this. It takes a while to get to some of these deeper concepts, like everything's happening for you and not to you, and that you planned it all. So I always say, if you're just, people are expressing an interest and they're asking for a recommendation, it's better to go light than to go heavy. They can always go light, but if they go too heavy, they may never want to dip their toe in again. So just my 2 cents. But yes, I love all the Dr. Michael Newton. If I could interview him, oh my God, if I could interview him, I would so love to have conversations with him, like all of his books. Um, Ewell Anderson. Thank you. Thank you very much, Donna. I have a Samuel. Thank you for the shout out to me. Love Never Dies is a good read. I so appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay. Donna, Still Right Here by Suzanne Giesman is my first book after I lost my son. Donna, I love that you're bringing that up. It put me on my journey, and here I am. Mediums, after Mark died, were all I wanted to read. I had so many mediums: Alison Dubois, Maureen McCormick. Um, there were so many. I'd have to go back and look at them. I had a shelf full of mediums because, again, evidential evidence is what I was looking for. I wanted things that people could prove, like things that were verifiable to make them more real. My logical left brain needed that. So I'm really glad that you mentioned a medium book, because usually those are chock full of evidential evidence, and that's super helpful. Oh yeah, Gary Zukov, Seed of the Soul. That was again another one of those Oprah books. She had him on his show. I remember reading that. I really don't remember very much about it, but I definitely remember reading it a long, long, long time ago. Hi, Mike. My introduction to this subject was when I was friends with Friends to Hear Daniel Brinkley speak back in the 90s. I bought his book and have been fascinated with the subject ever since. Awesome. Thank you for that recommendation. Some books and podcasts resonate with me, others don't. I think there's a good thing based on experience and where we're at. Absolutely. Absolutely. Catherine said, we heard the audio in the bird video. Oh, okay. Yeah, me talking to the bird. I was so excited. I was like, you guys, that fed my soul on such a big level to be able to save that bird, and that it didn't get run over. And I just, like, I sent it energy, and I put like a little protection around it. Like, I hope it's out there thriving right now. Lori, installing a doggy door for my hound is the best thing I ever did for them. Okay, so in Arizona, where I have a completely fenced in yard, Blaze has a doggy door. I have 8 acres, and I have bear, wolves, coyote, all kinds of things and people running around. Blaze has a collar that I put on her, and it projects a fence digitally around a perimeter. And so she doesn't really like to go beyond it. But I wouldn't want her to have the ability to go in and out whenever she wanted, because I never know what's making a noise that she might want to go and interact with. Skunk, fox, the bears really. I mean, I see bear scat on my property all the time. So that's why. But yes, if you have an enclosed, safe area for your pet, a doggy door is 100% a game changer, and it changed my life for my last dog, Storm, and for Blaze in Arizona. Totally agree. Just can't do it here. Okay, Donna. I read all three Neil Donald Walsh books, Conversations with God, when I was 19. Oh, awesome. That's another great. I love that everybody's weighing in with their suggestions here. I don't know what your name is. OPYOP. This is what I mean. Like, I have no idea what to call you, but thank you for joining. I'm confused, not sure what I believe, but happy to be here and hope to learn something. Oh, that's awesome. What do you want to learn? What's your biggest question? Put it in the comments. I'd be happy to speak to it. And what's your name? That's one of the things I ask people to share their name, because the YouTube names do not always help me. Okay, and Bruce says, so if we pick everything, we don't have free will. What do you think? Oh, no, 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 no. And I'll explain what I mean about the free will. Just because we pick everything doesn't mean that everything is written in stone. It just means that we have set ourselves up to have an experience in a certain way. So, for example, your parents or your adopted parents or your grandparents or aunt who raised you, whoever raised you, has one of the biggest influences on you. So that would be a key thing to pick, because everything is going to be built on that foundation. If you have an abusive parent versus a loving parent versus an absentee parent versus a helicopter parent, all those things will shape how the child grows up, what they believe, and it sets you up to be able to have certain experiences. So, the reason we pick and have a choice is because we are souls, we are creative souls coming here for experience. And in order to cultivate certain experiences, we need to set ourselves up to be able to do that. Do I think everything is written in stone? I've heard some NDEers say that everything, if a bird flaps its wings 4 times, that was meant to happen. It was the script, that you're kind of like, I liken it to live radio that has a delay. You're hearing the 10-second delay, and they're having the live conversation. It's almost like you're dropped in at the 10-second delay and you're just acting in a part and you don't have any free will. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. And the reason that I truly believe in free will is because of one of my experiences on the other side. As I was coming back into my human body, I'm telling this very short. Blaze was a tiny puppy. She was biting. I was so powerful coming back into my body. I thought to myself, I could influence her to not bite anymore, because that's how much power I was feeling. And I was kind of slapped on the hand with this instant knowing of free will is the right of every being. And if you take that away, you negate the experience, you negate the game. That was the phrase that was imparted to me. And so I understood in that moment how important free will, not just for us, but everything around us. Now, do we as people have our free will encroached upon, taken away in the human experience? Hell yes, because you've got somebody who could rob you, crash into you in their car, like all kinds of things can happen to you. But I do believe that a lot of those experiences are cultivated. We know they're going to happen, or the probability that they're going to happen is there. And just like you can take many paths, if you were going to go from where you live to Las Vegas, like you could get on a plane and fly as the crow flies and get there really fast, or you could drive in your car and it would take longer, or you could detour to Houston, Texas, and then drive to LA, or to drive to Vegas, and you would get there in a different pace. So your experiences might ebb and flow differently, but you still get to the experience. I think that there are certain experiences that we are destined, that we've set up for ourselves in such a way we couldn't not have them. And so because of that, we still pick everything, but it doesn't mean that everything is written in stone. There is definitely free will, 100%. Okay, so sorry, I've got to let Blaze in. I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay. Okay, I guess she's going to say hi again. Here she is. Here she is. Here's my girl. You say hi to everybody. Here, face that way. Oh. she doesn't want to look in the camera today, but anyway, there she is. Okay, so I hope that. Oh, you're so cuddly right now. Hi. That's my girl. Hello. Okay, she's going to sit here for a few minutes. She just wants attention right now. Oh my gosh, she's mauling me. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so I hope that answers your question about that. I know that there's probably a lot more that we could say about it. I did create a series of videos called Uncover Your Soul's Purpose. It's in a playlist on my channel, and I address all of these things. The videos start with you picked everything. And then the second video, I think, is you picked your parents and your experiences. And I really go into a lot of detail. I mean, sometimes those videos are 7 minutes long, and sometimes they're 30 minutes long, and some of them are maybe even a little bit longer than that. But I really did. Those were downloads from being on the other side. I was directed. I was reminded by source it was time to begin doing what I promised to do. And that came in the form of an outline. And I created every one of those videos. I did them in 6 weeks. I think I was working like 80 hours a week. I did all the editing. I learned editing. I learned everything when I was making those videos. They were such a labor of love, and they were not from me. They were absolutely a collaboration with the other side. There's no doubt in my mind about that. So I created them to help people understand the power of who they are. And it wasn't my project, it was the universe's project. And I became the catalyst that they use to help get that into the world. So if that is of value for you, then you might find some deeper answers to some of the questions there in lots of different categories. So hopefully that helps. But of course, you're always welcome to ask as many questions here as you want. And I'm probably only going to stay on here for about 10 more minutes. Okay, let's see. Okay, it's very hard to believe that we would choose war or other things we can't control over and over and over again. Again, I think that the complexity is that we are looking at things through the human lens of good, better, best. We have all of these things that we label as terrible, atrocious, bad, that on the other side as powerful, eternal, magnificent souls that are made of energy that cannot be destroyed, that are in a state of love and are perfection, that we would come here to play a game that is essentially a holographic game, a game that is in the mind of source, where you can experience contrast in all the things that you are not for the joy of the experience. And I mean every experience for the joy of it. So it's really hard to understand that. I know that this is a super tough. If it doesn't resonate with you, don't take it in. Only take in ideas that resonate here, like in your heart space, or that match your intuition and what your intuition says is right for you or resonates with you. There are many things that you could have told me 10 years ago that I would have said bullshit. It's like, I can't believe that. There's no way. That wasn't for me then. And that my experiences on the other side, my conversations, the books that I've read, the information that I've taken into my consciousness have changed what I believe to be true. And I feel like I don't have a set belief system. It's always ebbing and flowing and changing as my experiences, conversations, experiences change it. So nothing like that should be static. There shouldn't be anybody that has a belief system that's the same when they're 12 and they're 92, because if you are actually experiencing life, that's going to change. You're going to have experiences, conversations, you're going to get new information that helps you to understand or see things in a different way. So I get it that is really, really hard to understand. But we are here as powerful, magnificent beings having experiences that we can't have when we are in a state of energy on the other side. And we do this for the love of the experience, all of it, because it all has value, it all has connection, and we know that we could never be harmed on a soul level. So I think that we think of like death or being killed as the worst thing that happens. My experiences on the other side have been absolutely euphoric. I'm not looking to die. I don't have a death wish. I'm not doing things dangerously because I'm like, I don't care. I'm just going to die. But I have no fear of death. And if it happened tomorrow, I'm perfectly okay with it. I know what we are, I know what we experience. So nobody dies before their time. That's another truth that I've come to really fully understand after having so many of these experiences and conversations with people who have died and been on the other side. So if there are no accidents and people die in the perfect timing, then death could not be the worst thing that happens. I get people don't like the feeling of war and people being injured, but what if that injury happens for them in some way for them to understand something differently or to be in service in a different way? Sometimes those are wake up calls so that people wake up and remember that they're more than this just kind of blind drudgery that they were stepping through day by day without ever thinking about it. So there are things that happen with a purpose and an understanding that we will not get until we're on the other side. And that's okay to not be able to get all of it. And I understand where you are and why you're saying that and how that feels. So I completely relate to you, and maybe just try to be open to what if everything was happening for you and not to you. Okay. Mr. Begg says, after reading Newton's book, I realized that things happen for me and not to me. I love it. Thank you. Thank you for the confirmation. I hadn't read your comment yet, and I just said that. And my next comment was you confirming what I just said. Thank you. So seriously, I mean, this is truly how it works live, real time. Donna said, I can sometimes feel like a lonely road. And that's why places like this here. Thank you. I'm so grateful for everybody who joins these and everybody who watches them after the fact. So thank you everybody for taking your time to be here. Dr. Weiss was really good too. Yep. Oh, hi, Alana. Did I say it right? I love Alana. I think I'm saying it right. Um, Mr. Begg. Okay, Mr. Biggs is Mike. Thank you. I have a hard time sometimes remembering all of your names, but I wouldn't if it were in person. Pierre in Montreal says books I recommend: Expanding Reality by Dr. Mario Beauregard. I have never heard of that. Neuroscientist. He's from Canada and writes in English and French. Oh, bon. That's good in French, by the way. She Okay, Bruce says, thank you for that. Really helpful. Oh, good. I'm glad you found that helpful. Blaze is beautiful. I think that's what you're saying. I hate, I hate the comments and using a format where you hit the enter by accident and it posts when you weren't done typing. I hate that format. I wish they would change that so that didn't happen, more like an email. So I think you said your name is Mike, Mr. Beeks. Hold on, let me back up. Yes. Okay. Mike says, each planned incarnation has many possibilities and probabilities because of free will. Absolutely. And can we even bend our minds a little bit more and wonder, is there a little branch of our higher self, since there's only like this pinky fingernail in this incarnation of Laurie? Is there another pinky fingernail full of my higher self that went into an experience that's different than this? Like I stayed married, or I married somebody else from a different time, or I decided not to have kids, or whatever it is, or I took a different career path. Like there are so many realities that could be happening simultaneously in the multi-reality theory. So who knows how it really and truly is. I haven't seen any of those things on the other side to really understand them. There are only certain things that I understand from my experiences, but I totally get it. Donna Donna said, everything is here for us to experience and essentially to learn. I was just writing that when you said it. My eyes are wide open now and my new ears. Love it. Your interview, okay, Tammy is saying, hold on, this jumps around sometimes as you guys are typing. Your interview with Nancy was eye-opening for me with respect to the big picture of why we're here and what we hope to accomplish, but lots of other interesting ideas spoke to my instincts. I loved Nancy Danison's interview. Like, seriously, you guys, so good. And I'm telling you, her book about the 33 souls or 23 souls, whatever it is, I think it's 33 souls who have experienced source. It's really, really good. Highly recommend it if you want an advanced spiritual book. It's not for like a newbie. It's not a 101. It's a more of it's a graduate level book. And I don't mean in the difficulty of reading it. I mean in some of the concepts that it is talking about. Truly. Okay. Donna said, before we even feel any pain during the dying process, we pop out of our soul, out of our body. Absolutely. That has been explained by NDEers over and over and over again. I don't really think that we feel the pain. And that goes for, I have I've talked to people where they were doing something like drowning and they could see their body flailing in the water, but their soul was already out. To anybody watching, they would think that that person who drowned suffered when they did not. I have talked to many people who have been in car accidents who, before the moment of impact, left their body, saw their body. Sorry. It says my connection is unstable and I swore. I have a potty mouth sometimes. You can still be spiritual and have a potty mouth. I'm just going to say that. But sorry, I froze. I don't know what you heard and didn't hear. But anyway, people in accidents witness themselves flailing around, but they didn't feel the pain of the impact. And even if somebody saw them and saw, oh my gosh, it looked like they were suffering when they got smashed by that car, they weren't. I think when we know we're dying, we leave before the act happens and we don't experience the pain. That's like in a murder situation, in a hit by a train, in you name any scenario. I don't think people are experiencing the pain of that. Thank you, Catherine. Donna said, it helps a lot knowing that your son didn't feel a thing. Oh, that's amazing. Infinite possibilities. Everybody's just kind of agreeing. The last 5 minutes, at the last 5 minutes, but made it love for all. Well, the good thing is, as soon as I post this, YouTube processes it and you can rewatch it. And I will cut out the beginning where my sound was turned off on my mic like a dork. So, oh my gosh, you guys, I love having this time with you. I so appreciate all of you. I feel like this is such a nice little community, and I hope that it continues to grow and more people get out of it what they need to get out of it. I just want to remind you that you are powerful, beautiful, infinite souls of light. You are God. And I mean that in the truest sense. You are not like a son of God, a daughter of God, a child of God. You are the magnificence of Source, having an experience right now as you, with Source looking out of those eyes, experiencing everything. You are magnificent. You are never not loved. You are never alone because there is all of us together connected. That we are one massive collective. And not just the humans, but all the souls on the other side. So there are so many facets to this, but please remember the power and beauty of who you are. Don't give your power away. Take in what resonates, leave behind what doesn't. And I hope that any of this information that you get, you can use it to somehow make your life better so that you are truly in love with your life. And I think that you can become more deeply in love with your life when you love yourself for the beauty of who you are, no matter what you've had, what you've experienced, what you've done in this life. It doesn't matter. You're still a beautiful, magnificent soul, and that everything is happening for you and not to you. And I think if you can grasp those two things, your life will turn around and you will see it from a different perspective, and you will find the beauty in all of the things in your life. So, oh, next Wednesday, I do not think I will be doing my live. So, look, I have a corporate job, you guys. We have our sales kickoff. We just started our brand new year, July 1st, and I have to be in Canada. I'm going to Toronto and I will be there all week. I have meetings, I have dinners. So, I will not be doing my live next Wednesday. I apologize that I cannot do that, cannot be there. There's just no way with all the meetings we're going to have. So I will skip it, but I will see you the following Wednesday. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Love to all of you. Have a great rest of your evening.